Today's talk show on the topic transgender and their legal rights is being organized by the District Legal Services Authority, Transgender, sponsored by the Manipur State Legal Services Authority under the aegis of National Legal Services Authority. Today's talk show is organizing as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. I, on behalf of District Legal Services Authority, Chochampur, would like to welcome Santa Kurai, resource person on today's topic, that is transgender and their legal rights, who is also a transgender activist. Say, Santa, a very warm welcome on today's talk show.
Thank you, and also I would like to place my warm gratitude to DLSA, District Legal Services Authority to Rajasthan for giving me this opportunity to meet all the legal fraternities and also allowing me to share my experience to larger audience. Thank you.
Before coming to today's topic, let us discuss about what does it mean to have a gender that is not a male and also not a female. How would one perceive such an idea? Can you elaborate on this?
In my experience, it's innate element. It's innate element. We cannot equate this with something like mental health or hormonal condition, but actually, according to my experience, being a transgender person or identifying a non-binary gender person is is a innate element which one cannot change, and there is no conversion kind of things that could apply to this group of community and also to these peoples, because it's not changeable, or it cannot be converted, and this community cannot be bring back to the cisgender community or what so-called binary gender peoples.
Okay, thank you very much for highlighting on such point. Next question I would like to know, as for today's viewers also, that why don't transgender people get counseling to accept the then gender they were assigned at birth? This is very much important because they were assigned at birth, they were assigned a gender, but they are not accepting it. What is it and how they feel it and how they have experience about it? Can we elaborate on this also?
Like it takes times, Pinky, it takes times. For a person, for a non-binary person, it takes times to realize whether the person is transgender or not. And also it varies from person to person, individual to individual, because some people, they will realize that they are transgender in a very early age, but actually in some case, there are people who are realized that they are transgender person in the late 40s and in the mid 30s. So it varies, and also we have to wait for the time, and we also cannot reinforce a person who is like a bit effeminate or very a bit feminine in behavior and mannerism, and cannot count at them as a transgender person. It solely depends upon the understanding of the individual.
It depends on the particular persons, how they perceive it, whether they accept their gender they have assigned at birth or not. It depends on the particular persons.
Yes.
Let's come to the problems faced by the trans community. We have seen many problems are facing by trans community physically, financially, in different ways. So kind of highlight on some of the problems that are faced by the trans people, trans community people.
The issues and problem faced by the transgender people are humongous. It's like, when people ask me what are the issues and challenges faced by the transgender peoples, for me, I cannot give a finite answer on that, because there is a complete exclusion of transgender peoples in the law, policies, and everywhere else. This is the reason why, even, like when talking about the transgender student in schools, they face stigma, discrimination, bullied, and also this enabled them to continue their education, because like this such ill treatment has taken away their interest to continue their education, in terms of education. And in terms of employment also, like even the organizational policy of a private institution, the structure and also their policy is very much binary gender centric, and there is no space for us to go there and like work there. So these are the challenges. And then about talking about economic equity, there is so many bias. There is a huge bias when compared with transgender peoples and the binary gender peoples, because they have the opportunity, and the system itself is support of the binary gender peoples, and transgender are completely excluded from every aspect and every domain of the government and private institution, including society and family. So these are the challenges that the community has been facing since the time they realized that they are transgender person.
How about the family support? Whether the trans people's whether their families have been supported or not, or what are the problems they have been facing, particularly in their particular families?
Family, like there are changes that we have seen recently. There are recent changes. I don't know whether I should call this support or kind of acknowledgement for their trans children. There may be various reasons why the young transgender peoples are, like having this liberty to live in the way they wanted to. I've seen this in Manipur, we have experienced it. But actually, coming to the question of acceptance, family acceptance, there is a big question mark on that. And we cannot say whether the Manipuri, the family, trans parent in Manipuri society accepted their trans children or not. Because on the other hand, transgender peoples are, the bread earner of every family. Okay, every trans family. So this could be also one reason why the transgender peoples in their family are able to live with in the way they wanted to, and their gender expression, and whatever it is. So yeah,
In a
that's the answer from my end.
Okay, it means in a particular sense they have been contributing, or they are helping their family in a way financially, and
Hmm.
then, in a way they are supporting their family, even their
Hmm.
parents accepted it or not, but in a
Hmm.
way they have been supporting their family financially. Thank you
Hmm.
very much, Santa. Next, come to the very important question. I think it is a very much important on today's topic. Why is transgender equality very much important in today's society?
It's very important. It's very important when we talks about a very progress nation or a very progress society. The society or the nation has to be very included in policies, in political framework and family structure, everywhere else. It should be very much inclusive. Okay, when we talk about inclusion and inclusive, then transgender peoples as a part and parcel of the society should also be included in every realm of the society, and also in every institution, and in every development. So it's very important. When there is an inclusive society, then definitely there will be progress. Okay, so in a society where there is a lot of bias, and then there is a lot of gender discrimination happening around, then it will be very difficult to like to find an avenue where people could come forward and then started talking about the gender equality, where transgender could be included. And there could be also this, I'm very much skeptical about talking about trans equality when coming to the feminism theory, because like there are also a lot of women who are very much against transgender, and they are very much transphobic. On the other hand, they are also working for gender equality. So I have this confusion. What is the definition of gender equality according to these feminists and also women activists? Because transgender women, on the other hand, are the people who assign male at birth but identified as a women. And why should not transgender women can be included in the category of women. Okay, it doesn't mean that I, as a transgender person, wanted to compete with the biological women. It's a different scenario. Okay, so like it's not that I'm competing our biological attribution with the biological women, but on the other hand, the reality is like transgender people are the people transgender women are the people who identified as women, and they should be included under the category of women itself. So like, because like when we talk about women, women have different forms and shape and size. Likewise, transgender are also a form of women in this category, and they should be included. So this is my this is just my analytical thought, and I think it's very important to have a very inclusive society.
Yes, it is also true that uh, because the trans people are facing many problems in the society, in the workplace, communities, in the families, and it should start from the families also. If once family started accepting being a trans child, then I think the society at last will come up slowly, and accepting their gender assigned to them. Okay, Santa, let's come to the after this point. I would like to discuss on some of the cases which the legal services we have been interacting, or we have been in touch with so many years and working together in the field of transgender and many other fields. So, regarding the Legal Services Authority and the works and the services provided by the Legal Services Authority, I would like you to highlight some of the cases or the services provided by the Legal Services Authority to the trans community.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very beautiful question. And then it's like, when talking about the State Legal Services Authority and District Legal Services Authority, uh, I would like to appreciate this authority, this institution, legal institution, because, like since 2013, Sati, where it's a national level organization where I'm working as a consultant. We have started working with Masalsa, Manipur State Legal Services Authority, since 2013. And Manipur was the first state in the entire country that provide free legal services authority to transgender person, to a transgender person. It was in 2013. So like after that, we still continue working in collaboration with the State Legal Services Authority and State Legal Services Authority, and this authority has provided a lot of support to the trans community. One example could be like they have provided paralegal volunteers and advocate and facilitate to get their gender identity change affidavit, which is the first-hand document to identify a person as a transgender person legally and officially. And this is a very important document. And we got support from State Legal Services Authority and District Legal Services Authority. Not only this, in many cases, we directly contact with the District Legal Services Authority, Thawal, Kakching, Imphal East, West, and short help from them, and they provided support in crisis intervention, and then family crisis, partnership crisis. So these are a huge outcome of all the work that we have been doing in collaboration with DALSA. And I, on behalf of the community, also would like to appreciate the SALSA and DALSA.
Thank you, Santa, for highlighting such points. I also heard that it has been open, a legal clinic has been open in the Sati also. Would you like to highlight on this so that our today's viewers, particularly the trans community, could know what is the work of the legal clinic and how could they approach the legal clinic when they face any problems? Can kindly highlight on this also.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that also. That one also, because that's a recent development. So Sati, Amana, and Ita, we have started advocating, with the State Legal Services Authority to open a legal aid clinic for the transgender peoples, gender and sexual minority peoples in Sati office at Chekwon, at Sati office at Chekwon. and last month it happens, and we have opened it because, and also we have panel paralegal volunteer, community paralegal volunteer in the panel. It's like around 15 peoples, and the work is like we will be getting cases from the community, and then they will bring the case in the legal aid clinic, and we will refer it to salsa and dalsa if necessary. Okay, but from our end, we will be trying our level best to use our paralegal volunteer, and then we keep providing them orientation kind of many kind of technical support to what is capacitate them to deal with any type of case. But in case if the case is very difficult and severe, then we will definitely refer it to the higher authority. But the good thing of opening this legal aid clinic in the community based organization or at Sati space is like community will feel free to access the legal support, because the community will be sitting there, and those people who are coming are also from the community. So like it's kind of safe space for the community. And for this also, I on behalf of Sati, Amana and community members really appreciate this new step taken off by State Legal Services Authority.
Thank you, Santa, also highlighting on this. How could a trans person approach? How can a trans person approach to your clinic? And as Santa also highlighted that it's the community-based legal clinic, so they will feel free to talk about their problems, whether it's based on the community or family matters. How can a person which is, belong to a trans community will approach to your clinic, and kindly elaborate on this, that so that they can find your office, where to find it, how to approach it, whom to approach it, so that today's viewer could easily access on that.
Okay, first of all, one easy example is like the Sati office where Amana and Ita shared office space. This is the only community space in Manipur where community know it very popularly. Okay, it's a popular space for the community, I would like to say. And second thing is like we also have our own staff, and we keep disseminating this information to the community, to this field staff. So through them also we are able to reach out to more communities, which helps the community to aware of the existence of this legal aid clinic in our office. And Checkon Sati office, the location of Sati office is very much easily accessible to all the peoples, because it's like the heart of the city, and yeah, it's very much accessible. So yeah, people, the community members are very much aware of this, because in the opening of on the day of opening of this legal aid clinic also, we have invited lot of community members, and then many community members attended in that opening ceremony. And then there were also news reports coming out from local newspaper, and that also helps the wider peoples to know about the opening of this legal aid clinic.
It means that the wider people, means the wider section of the trans community people have the knowledge about this, as what publication has been done about the operation of that particular legal. Thank you,
Yeah.
Cheshanta, for highlighting this.
And Pinky, one thing is like we have also discussed with our higher authorities, Hati peoples, and then we have also decided to deal with any case which is non-trans related case also, because we wanted to use this opportunity as much as we can, because we wanted to expand our work and give the benefit to the other non-trans community also.
Not particularly to the trans people, to the
Yeah,
wider section of the
yeah.
people, particularly not sticking to a particular gender, transgender or male or female, not sticking to a particular gender.
Yeah.
It's a very good idea, I think, and we appreciate that the Ligue Clinic has been established there, and lots of people, including the trans people and other wider section of the people, near locality people, will also access to
Mm.
this Ligue Clinic. Thank you very much for highlighting on those points also. Now, Desante, let's come to the very much important also. I think this is a very much important questions and relating to the trans community. Can you suggest some ways and means to improve or elevate the problems faced by the trans community, particularly on this present arena, present situations of the COVID-19 also?
Pinky, the state need to introduce a transgender policy, because if there is a policy, there is a there is a proper policy, then there will be program, there will be a budget. So without budget, you cannot do anything. Okay, so through that policy, we can include economy of transgender peoples. We can include education. We can include other sort of other sort of requirement in that policy. So we don't have that policy, so that makes difficult us to move forward, and we cannot do anything much than the current position.
But any suggestions to means to improve the problem faced by the trans community, so that the particular viewers of today's particular viewers, that means the trans community, all the viewers, masses of the people are be watching today's program, but particularly pinpointing to the trans community, we like to know that the any suggestion from your means from your side, so that some trans people could elevate or their elevate their problems faced by them, particularly in the colleges, schools, or in the families. How could they cope up with this, with such kind of situations?
We have to look this from both sides, from both from the community and the society. Okay, because the community also need to get a lot of awareness on their human rights and legal rights, and at the same time, the other authorities, I mean, like the government institution or the non-government institution, family and society, there also need a lot of awareness program to be conducted on the issues related with the transgender persons. And also we need to scale up the awareness on the transgender rights bill, and then Supreme Court Nalsa judgment 2014, because that will enable to uh, what to say, make the bridge between the gap that is between society and the community institution, and the community family institution and the community. So there is still a very huge gap between all this spectrum. So we need to bring in all this together through a lot of awareness and sensitization program. And as this is for this is being organized by DLSA Churachandpur, I would also like to reflect uh, uh, some of the issues related faced by the transgender community in Churachandpur, because like it was long time back. We I used to work with a church apex body, Christian apex body, which is called National Council of Churches in India. And through them and in collaboration with Sati, we have conducted one sensitization program for church leader in Presbyterian Church in Churachandpur. But actually, uh, the question and the attitude that we have received from those people who have participated in that program were not actually hostile, but it was not receptive. So I was able to understand how the community would be surviving there. It must be very difficult. And then I also worked in the Churachandpur for a long years, and then through my experience, I got to know that many community members have shared that because of the religion, they are not able to come out, and also society are very much into the Christian teaching. This doesn't mean that I'm very much offensive and talking against religion, but actually I am talking about the people's mindset. And so in this context, I think uh, District Legal Services Authority Roshanpur can also take a very big role to have the community to come out from the closet. The backlash of pushing the community to the closet is like in many of the stories shared by the community from Churachandpur, they use drugs, they are substance abuse, because they wanted to escape from that trauma, uh, from social oppression and then family rejection. So many of the community member uh, pass away in a very early age because of the substance they have used. So this is the reality, and DALSA as a legal, what to say, entity, I think they can do a lot for the transgender community, not only for transgender community, but for LGBT people to exist there in Churachandpur after this program. And we can also like extend our like helping hands to District Legal Services Authority. If anything they wanted, like material information, data and everything, we are ready to support them if they lend out their hands to support the community.
I think District Legal Services Authority Chochapu will definitely initiate such program. And as Santa highlighted on those things, that we have come to know that the trans community, particularly in the Chochapu district, has been facing lots of problem because from the side of the society, from the side of the family, from many angles. And I think that needs to be we need to make people aware about their legal rights also, so that equal system would come into the trans community also. As today's topic is regarding the transgender and their legal rights. Now, recently in the 2019, the government of India has passed an act called the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. So kindly highlight some of the provisions enshrined on this particular act so that the particular trans people could understand what their legal rights are, and what are the benefits about this act.
Yeah, unlike the Supreme Court NASA judgment that came out in 2014, this act it's not going to benefit the community at large. There are provision, but actually it's not progressive like the Supreme Court NASA judgment. But for the time being, what we are doing is like through the strength of that Act 2019, Rule 2020, we are facilitating the online transgender ID registration for the community at Sati office, and many of the community peoples have started receiving their transgender ID and transgender certificate from their respective district deputy commissioner. So other than that, there has not been any remarkable step taken up by the government. But from our end, we are doing this, what to say, applying online transgender ID and certificate. So because until and unless the community members are getting this, they are not able to get any benefit in case benefit are coming from the center also.
It means that the certificate issued that has to be applied also online. Then this certificate is very much important for a particular transgender person. It has it is going to identify himself or herself, his gender, not assigned by the birth, not yes. So at least we have a positive thing about this egg. I think according to this egg, the transgender people are getting the identity I-card, or what you say, a certificate of identity. So kindly highlight more on this so that more trans people could get the benefit of this. About as the Santa also highlighted it, it is a very much important certificate. Because of this, if you don't have this particular certificate, you cannot have any, you cannot avail any schemes provided by the central government. So kindly highlight on this and kindly make people, particularly trans community, to have access and how to apply for this certificate also. Kindly highlight more on this.
Okay, this is very important. If a person identified as a transgender person and if he or she confirm her gender identity, then it's very important for that individual to have this transgender ID and certificate, because in the coming years, the government, whenever a transgender person go anywhere to do something, then definitely those authority will ask, what is your proof? What is your proof to prove you as a transgender person? Then this will be the document to produce an evidence to the authority or the peoples, whatever it is. Okay, so it's very important for the transgender person to have this. And also, if a transgender person wanted to change their gender, their gender marker from female to trans, male to trans, then the person has to produce this in that authority. For example, if a transgender person wanted to change his or her gender marker in the educational certificate, then that person has to have this transgender ID and certificate. Okay, and then if a transgender person wanted to change this in Aadhaar, voter card, or in even in passport, then it has to be there. This transgender ID and certificate has to be produced at the first place. So it's very important. And for applying, it's not a very difficult task, but actually, for the beginners, they need a guidance. They need a guidance, and we have staff uh, who is specifically looking after taking care of this application applying online. So if any trans person wanted to get their transgender ID and certificate, please visit the Sati, and that person can learn that knowledge how to apply online from our office. Then he or she can help other transgender person in their district, because for a transgender person cannot do multiple application. Okay, so for a transgender person, one email ID, one phone number. Okay, so if I wanted to do it for somebody, then that person has to brought his or her mobile phone or laptop, or must have an email ID and permanent phone number, because it's going to be linked when applying that application online, because the update and all the relevant information will be coming to that person's email and phone number.
So that's a very important thing, that the certificate of identity is very much important for the trans community in order to avail any
And
scheme
also,
provided by
Pinky,
the government.
I missed out one point, which is also
Yes.
very important. For applying this online application, the transgender person also needs to get a, what's that? An affidavit, a
Okay.
notary affidavit. Okay, a notary affidavit of rupees 10
On stamp,
or 10 rupees
10
stamp.
rupees non-registered stamp paper, on the
Mm.
10 rupees non-registered stamp paper, proving that he or she is a transgender.
Transgender
And
person. And if
that
that
is the
individual
certificate
wanted to change his or her name also, they can do it in that affidavit.
in their affidavit also. Okay. And then that particular trans person, whether male or female, can change their name also. And if they wanted to uh, change in their documents also, in their uh, uh, present documents, as like in college document or academic
Mm.
document, they
Mm.
need this particular certificate if they wanted to change it. Is it right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it is very much important that the trans people, trans community people should know how to apply this application for certificate of identity. And it is very much important that one should have this certificate if a person is a trans person.
And Pinky, one more things I wanted to add. This is also very important for the peoples to know. And if a transgender person wanted to identify either as male or female, then after getting the transgender ID and certificate, that individual also need to, continue the second step, need to do the second step. In that process, the person has to submit the medical intervention document to identify either as male or female.
Okay, and who's going to issue that certificate?
The district deputy commissioner, the
Okay,
district magistrate.
the district magistrate. They
Mm.
come DC in short we say DC, district
DC,
magistrate,
DC,
deputy commissioner.
district
Said,
collector, DC, district
okay.
magistrate.
Okay, then it is a very much important for the trans people community. So on today's talk, today's topic is the transgender and their legal rights, and we have highlighted some of the points that is very much important to the today's trans community people. And I, on behalf of the District Legal Services Authority of Champur, again would like to thank Santa, who is also activist in transgender community, for highlighting on such a point. And lastly, the today's viewer, I like to highlight on this. While I would like to give more emphasis that to the trans people do apply for the that certificate of identity, because it's going to be very helpful in your future prospects,
Mm.
particularly in career or in schemes provided by the central or state government. Thank you, Santa, very much for highlighting such a wonderful thoughts and sharing the ideas that be provided by the Sathi and Amana. And thank you once again.